All right, everybody, we are back. Another episode of the Sports Clash. I'm Rich Arleo, right here with my buddy Chris Carey.
What's up, dude?
How you doing, bud?
Good, man. Welcome to the Park Avenue studio.
Oh man, we are just this is pro. This is pro. But the best thing about this right here is we got our table set up, we got our computers, and the Jets are on the TV right here. I can watch the misery
and the mediocrity.
It'll be perfect. I had such a strategy. I was like, you know what? I'm betting on good teams, good quarterbacks. I took the Bengals at home, the Ravens at home.
Great strategy.
Felt great about it. Yeah. It's a great strategy. It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
The problem is the NFL is just a joke.
It is what it is.
That's what screwed me up.
Right.
Mostly.
Yeah. No, it was a tough week all around. I think I lost by half a point on my one bet, and it was.
We both went 1-2.
Yeah, but we were talking about throughout the week. There were just so many games that were like bettable. Mm-hmm. You know, it was not like anything that was like, oh, I'll stay away from that. Maybe Giants plus 17.5, but you know,
we should have well, thankfully we didn't do that. We should have just hammered the Cowboys minus 17.5.
They hit the over by themselves.
Tommy DeVito, baby, TD, Tommy.
I wish I still lived with my mom too.
He's got the life, that's for sure. And he threw a touchdown today. So
incredible! I can't even believe it.
I mean, he's good.
Hell really is frozen.
Yeah. It's crazy that there's a worse quarterback in New York than Zach Wilson.
Honestly, yeah, that's pretty wild to think about. But you're right. You're right. Completely right.
Well, I mentioned these games. I don't even know what to talk about. It was just one of those days where we made all the right plays. We used the brains. It was the way to go.
It was a big brain day.
It was a big brain day. Chris Carey, big brain. And it's what it is. But let's start with this one because this one just pissed me off. I took the Bengals, and with the points, it was -6, and didn't work. Texans 30, Bengals 27. For the second straight week, the Texans kicking situation screwed me over.
You love kickers too. You're a big fan of the kicking game, the third side of the football. That's for sure.
Matt Amendola. So last week I lost because the Texans had Kaimi Fairbairn, the kicker, who is good, get hurt. So that screwed up the whole point spread. I lost by 1 because they didn't kick any point after. They kicked 1 point after with their running back, Ogunbowale, and he hit it. And they could have hit another one at the end of the game, and they just said, "No, we're just going to kneel it because we won." And screw Rich. So that's screwed. And then today they sign Matt Amendola, who I recognize because he was on the Jets a couple of years ago. He went 13 for 19 as a kicker for the Jets.
That's okay.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
let's be real.
It's not NFL.
We're getting close to 50% kicks there.
Yeah, that's like a MAC kicker, a Mid-Atlantic Conference college kicker right there.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen it. The Metro Athletic.
That's the MAC.
They're now defunct. Now they're in the Pioneer League.
That's all right. Up there with the Pac-12 now.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I bet this game on the fact that the Bengals are red hot. They're at home. They're playing against a team that has no run game. And, yeah, C.J. Stroud looked great last week, but that's against a bad Buccaneers defense.
Right.
So, we're fine.
I joined you on this one, so...
Yeah,
we are simpatico on this.
We're both in the shit.
No, at the end of the day, I thought this was an inflated spread for the Texans because of what Stroud did the week before. Sometimes you can kind of game the system a little bit, I feel like, on some bets. But, hey, I guess they're real. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I thought Bengals on a roll, Texans overachieving. 6 points is usually more than I like to take on an NFL spread. But you know what? Joey Burrow is what it is. I didn't realize T. Higgins would be out when we placed this on Saturday, but you kind of gave me the out on it, and I said, no, let's roll with it. Yeah. And the way that the Bengals closed out.
Chase played. That was the most important thing.
Well, the way that they closed out, they should have won. They just should have started that way. And they started pretty hot with 7-0, and then all of a sudden...
Then they died, and that was it. They didn't score again for the first half.
Yeah.
And that was the difference in the game. And Joe Burrow had you look at Joe Burrow's stat line, 347, 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks against a team that came into the game. They had 4 picks all year as a defense. Right. They pick off Joe Burrow twice, who's been red hot. Joe Mixon, he was able to move the ball, but they only gave him 11 carries. They were trying to force it, and I mean, I get you. Basically went to the half. Houston was up 10-7. C.J. Stroud was looking good, but the variant here that just completely screwed everything up was Devin Singletary.
The variant.
30 carries. 30 carries for Devin Singletary, 150 yards.
Yeah. No, he was basically Loki. I
They
mean,
had.
30
I went
carries.
into the game. I said, "You don't have a run game.
Yeah.
You don't."
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? They ran the ball right down Cincinnati's.
Last week, your running back was a kicker. This week, Devin Singletary is RB1, and I guess one of the best running backs in the league right now. But 30 carries is what we've been thirsting for running backs, and
Yeah, that's what we want.
we finally got it, but not in the right game. Don't do that against us.
What happened with the Lions game is I was super confident in the Lions. I took a -3 for the picks. I didn't place the bet until just before the game, and the line moved to 2.5.
Right.
So when that happened, I jumped on it, and I won money on that.
Yeah.
And that was nice. It was Lions 41, Chargers 38. I pushed for the people. I would have liked to get a win this week, so I'm disappointed there.
Well, if they took the line on Sunday morning, they might have dropped to 2.5, and they followed you. That's a win right there, baby. So
yeah, if they waited,
you didn't lose money on that game. That's a push.
I didn't lose. We didn't lose.
Right.
That's that. Lions 41, Chargers 38. This was a shootout. I mean, this comes down to Dan Campbell being a great coach, a great leader of men.
Man Campbell, I think you said. Yeah.
Man Campbell. He goes for it. I mean, the Lions could have kicked the field goal to take the lead, but give the Chargers the ball back with some time left on the clock. Instead, 4th and 2, I think it was, and they go for it. Boom. Convert. Jared Goff was icing his veins all day.
Yep.
And the Lions won their rushing game. 200 yards on 31 carries.
Yeah.
Montgomery, Gibbs, they were just unbelievable.
Well,
this is how you win. And the Chargers are 4-5, and I stand by my point that the Chargers are frauds. They don't have a coach.
Okay.
They don't have a coach. They have a quarterback. They have a good running back. They got good defensive ends. Keenan Allen. It's it.
He's a beast, and he broke records the other game, and
that's all.
I think Kellen Moore should be your head coach, but that might be a hot take. He skipped out of Dallas because he couldn't really win with Dallas, but they were still a winning team, and I blame Dak Prescott's audibling for his frustrations as an offensive coordinator because I get it, and I think that was part of the reason why Jason Garrett had an exit there as well, because it's not about the play calling there; it's about what the hell is Dak going to do on the field, and sometimes he just makes mistakes, and I think he's a decent quarterback, but I think Kellen Moore should be. I think Kellen Moore should be the head coach there. Brandon Staley should be the DC, and nobody's going to take a demotion. But at the end of the day, the Chargers have all the talent, and they have the defensive talent, and they have the offensive talent. I don't know how they are on the offensive line or anything like that, but it seems like Herbert has a decent amount of time. He might not be the brightest bulb, but there's something not clicking there, and it's
coach.
It's interesting because I agree. And it could be on Kellen Moore, too. Who knows? But I picked them as a playoff team.
Brandon Staley. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. And he walks around and he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
He's like
the HR guy. And you're just concerned about him all the time. Why is this guy over here? What is he doing? Devontae. All right, anywho. But Chargers may not be frauds, but 38 points against an Aiden Hutchinson, Anthony Anzalone. A solid defense there. That's pretty good. So I'm not sold that they're frauds just yet. But I think the Lions won this, and I think we came to the consensus that Dan Campbell has 3 balls.
He does.
Yes,
he's got more balls than us.
More balls than I
had surgery, I believe,
to insert a ball
surgically.
He calls it the 4th down ball.
Yes, yeah. And that's just why that's why they call him Man Campbell. It's a scary man. It's a great coach.
Right.
I think his players respect him.
They love him, and he loves them.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
He does.
They're a fun team to watch if the Jets end up being the Jets, which I'm sure they will be.
Right.
The Lions are a team that I can proudly root for.
I agree. Enjoy. And I joined you on the 2.5 and won some money there, and I was pumped about it. It was solid. I thought this was just a glaring game. And it was closer than I think either of us expected. But at 2.5,
the over was the play.
Right.
I mean, almost 80 combined points. I think it was 79 combined
Yeah,
points.
that's like
It's wild.
Yeah, that's like a Big 12 game.
Moving on. You got to win. Niners 34, Jags 3. I hear you don't like Trevor Lawrence. Is that true?
Oh, did I say that? I think I did call Brock Purdy a guy, but that guy got his dude back
Three
today.
touchdowns, Debo.
Debo, exactly. AJ Dillon, self-proclaimed quad father. Debo is a stud. Debo is like lower body, and he is just moving. And anytime he touches the ball, he could go. So him coming back, you didn't need a McCaffrey touchdown in this one. And
The streak is over.
the streak is over. They tried so hard to get it to him.
Brock
at the end.
Lesnar,
Right.
Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
The streak is over.
I think this was more of the Niners just in an onslaught against the Jacksonville team that was streaking, maybe a little bit burnt out. I do like Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is a complete dude. I'm a big pedigree guy. He's been the number one guy since he was like 14 years old in Pee Wee football, and high school football, and college football, and in the NFL. He's going to get there, and he's got the right coach to get there. He's got his boy ETN, but you're just running into a team of men right now. And the 49ers grabbing Chase Young and Nick Bosa, they looked like they wanted to go to each other's birthday parties on the sideline. They looked like they were going to take a bath together afterwards. Yeah.
I think Chase Young had his head on.
Yeah, it was cute.
It
was adorable.
Cute,
former college teammates, former Buckeyes. I loved watching their pass. Oh my God! I said it was my. I said it was a special dream of mine. But yeah, I wish it was on my team.
One of the wet ones?
Yeah, it was. I woke up and needed to do laundry. But yeah, Chase Young, I don't know why we get a third-round pick for him in Washington, and I'm a little upset. Injury concerns, we didn't pick up his option, whatever. He was a second overall pick in the draft, and that's talent, and you can't teach talent. And if the guy gets hurt, the guy gets hurt. Whatever. You're supposed to have 2 more years with him, and you hope those are good years, and he was doing great this year. He was doing phenomenal this year. And now you just put him on the opposite side of Nick Bosa with Pete Warner in the middle. That's just a defense that just, oh my God, I don't want to meet them in an alley.
I mean, this is a team that a couple of weeks ago we were like, are they going to go undefeated?
Right.
And then they got some injuries, and they kind of
people forget short-term memory, but yeah. Exactly.
But I think the Debo thing was kind of underrated. They missed this. He does it all. He had a rushing touchdown today, 4 catches. I mean, he didn't fill the stat sheet, but his presence on the field just completely changes what the defense is looking at.
Right, exactly. No, you can't just key in on McCaffrey. You can't just key in on Ayuk or Kittle in the passing game. You have to account for him in the rushing and passing game. And Brock Purdy just with another toy. He's just the guy out there being a dude. And Debo was the X factor. Kyle Shanahan just knows how to call plays for that offense when he has everybody.
Speaking of dude, Sam Darnold completion today.
Wow.
1 for 2, 6 yards.
Dude, he should be on the Jets.
Boy, Sam.
Yeah.
We tried that already.
I know.
Didn't work.
I know. You can't go back to the ex-girlfriend.
No.
It just doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't work.
Backsliding, I think they call it. Can't backslide.
No, I'm good. I'm good on that.
Nice.
Your other loss.
Don't
This was a tough one. This was a tough one. I really felt bad for you on this one.
No, you didn't.
Because this was how I felt losing that Texans game last week.
I'm going to slump in my chair right now.
Steelers 23, Packers 19. Packers plus 3.5 misses by 0.5. And I think we had a missed field goal there, or a missed extra point,
which doesn't happen in the NFL. They want to get rid of extra points in kicking and kickoffs and everything in the NFL.
That's not what you want.
No, it's not what I want. It's not what should have happened. And things happen, and kids don't go out there betting more than you could afford, right? Because crazy shit happens like this. But yeah, you kind of said I feel bad about hating on you last week for the kicking game because I loved the Goomba Wale kicking a field goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this sucked. I was wearing a Packers hat all day. I'm out in public wearing a Packers hat.
I don't know what he was doing, but yeah.
Go Pack Go. Jordan Love. Oh my God, it's so predictable. Put him in a red zone situation with pressure on, and he'll throw it to the other team. Hey guys, I don't want this. Here you go. And they had a shot at the end of the game, and that's exactly what he did. But other than that, he looked good to start. Yeah. But just there was one, the Christian Watson pass that ended up getting tipped and picked off. Yeah. You're first and goal. Just run the ball a couple times. I think it was 2nd and 9 actually, or 2nd and goal. But just run the freaking ball a couple times with your 2 amazing studs.
He did Dylan and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had a bad game, and the Steelers have a decent run defense, but Aaron Jones is a beast, and you gotta feed him. And AJ Dillon is pretty good too. Up the middle,
the
he's strong
buys and
up
the
the
quads.
middle.
That's what you got. You got two studs, and Jordan Love has just proven that this is what he does. Mm-hmm. So why do it? I'd even prefer an end around to Christian Watson rather than a fade route into the corner of the end zone that's going to get tipped and picked off. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this really ticked me off. A 0.5-point loss. I'm not even going to consider it a loss. Fuck your graphics.
I'm going to put it as a loss though in the graphic.
Put an asterisk.
I'm going to give myself a draw, which was really
wasn't
shitty.
Real. It didn't happen.
You got the loss.
How you miss a freaking field goal? How you miss an extra point? It's the NFL. Like it's literally
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh, it hurts.
It hurts. It's not cool.
I've been on a 2-1 run, and a 0.5 point has killed that run for me. So I don't want to talk about it anymore.
We're 1-2 this week.
Yeah,
I went 2-1, so you technically beat me. You did get a win
by 0.5 point. Yeah. Like I don't even consider this a wash.
It's gonna come down to it. The last week of the season, I'm gonna win by 0.5.
Whatever. Anybody who's listening to us, just tease our picks by 0.5 point. And boom, you're making money. I mean, you're making money on our picks anyway this week. But,
although the Ravens and Bengals both lost outright, and that was not. I'm still really mad about those games.
Dude, I mean, we watched every pregame. Everybody picked the same way. Experts throughout the industry. It was expected, and what happened was the unexpected, and that's mid-season NFL. So
I don't like it.
I don't love it.
I hate it, actually.
I can't stand it.
Well, those were our picks. Like I said, you went 1-2. I went 2-1.
Kabosh.
A couple of quick notes I want to talk about, and one of them is Derek Carr blows. And that's, we talked about him and guy or dude, and I'm pretty sure I called him a guy.
Yeah.
And he looked like just less than a guy.
Yeah.
He looked like a feller. He looked like
he is a feller.
He didn't belong out there.
Yeah.
I have Chris Olave on my fantasy team, and I'm screaming at the TV like, throw this guy the ball. What are you doing? Derek Carr gets hurt. Jameis comes in. First pass. Chris Olave, back corner of the end zone. He makes an unbelievable touchdown catch. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Check down Derek out of the game, and now you got gunslinger Jameis. So
he's checked down Derek Carr. Like that's all. He drops back like, ooh, who am I going? Maybe Taysom, maybe Kamara, maybe Taysom, maybe like he's just looking here.
The decision is made prior that I am not throwing this ball more than 10 yards down the field. I'm gonna let my guy catch it and run, and hopefully I get the yards. But dude, he gets to the line, he's pointing people out, he's yapping at people. So he's walking around like this. Derek Carr is a very average quarterback. David Carr was better. David Carr was better. Hot take right there. But yeah, it's frustrating because it's one of those situations. Just like Brock Purdy, you have all the toys. You have all the weapons. Your receivers might get arrested every week, but you have everybody.
It's a concerning trend in New Orleans.
I don't even know, dude. I don't even know. It's kind of wild, but yeah, they're all getting.
Rashid Shaheed's getting picked up next week for something.
Is. Yeah, probably jaywalking or something stupid. Chris Olave was speeding in a school zone. I think Michael Thomas pushed a contractor or whatever, and now Rashid Shaheed is going to be flagged for walking backward in a crosswalk or something like that. I have no idea. Kind of wild, but yeah, Derek Carr is a paper animal, paper tiger, and he should be, dude. He should be so much better. Like you literally could do anything. I sit here outside of what you're doing right now and be successful.
That's why I sit here watching Zach Wilson every week, and I'm still like, I'm fine not having Derek Carr here. That's the testament, and I just. He's not going to do anything.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of signing an old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and injury, whatever. I'm going to eat my words next year when he's healthy. I guarantee it. But I thought Derek Carr would be the answer because of the toys that the Jets had and the defense that the Jets had. But he goes right into the New Orleans situation, and I thought, oh, he's got even better stuff around him, and he's just not performing. And now you're sitting there in year one of a 4-year contract with a lot of money on the line. Like, I mean, I'd draft another quarterback, or I'd just let Taysom Hill run it. At this point, Taysom Hill's been an incredible fantasy stud for a couple weeks. So.
I mean, last year it was weird because last year people were kind of on Taysom, like, oh, he's tight end eligible in fantasy, like maybe just pick him up, he'll be involved, and he didn't really do anything.
No.
But now this year they're getting him very much involved, and I think that's because of Derek Carr.
Of course,
he
they're
needs a
bearding him.
blanket. He needs a blanket. Yeah,
He's got to
exactly.
hold on to something at night.
Blanket.
Exactly. But Jameis comes in, gunslinging Jameis Winston, fist bumping, high fiving. The dude rolls out to the left, throws all the way across the field for a touchdown. Like, I love it. What else do you have to lose? You're a 500 team at best. You know, Michael Thomas got knocked out. You throw it to A.T. Perry or whatever the heck his name was, all the way across the field, and he's just like, my arm is better than your, reaction time. And he hammered it in there, and it was a touchdown, and they looked okay when he was in. But yeah, Olave had nothing with Derek Carr, and then you ended up with, I think, 6 or 7 catches for like almost 100 yards.
Great game. It goes to show it's the wide receiver's performance is
it's all
relying
about
on
distribution.
That's it.
Yep. I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm a big Saints guy too. I love everybody. They're all Ohio State guys.
Love them all.
Yeah, I love them all.
I think every wide receiver in the NFL came from
love
Ohio
New
State.
Orleans too. I'm a big fan of New Orleans. What a fun city.
The city.
Yeah,
sure. I've never been there, but been waiting for it.
I don't remember it anyway.
That's the thing. They get offensive. I mean, the Jets don't get any breaks. Yeah, if the Jets hold, they get called for the hold. And that's
the over is looking a little suspect here. And
what the fuck are we doing?
Woo! Today's not a great day.
Yeah, it's early. It's still the first. Jets are moving the ball, but it's always the penalties.
It's not a great day for me by a half a point, though. Like, honestly, it was a half a point and it was a missed extra point that made my day not a good day.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. It was a tipped pick six. So goes to show you.
And they blocked the Justin Tucker field goal too.
We should just do money line on everything from now on. But
yeah. Throw some.
We're trying to get
minus 250 money line spreads. Right. We're not winning any money there.
Exactly.
We're not helping anybody out.
Like the guy who says, "Oh, Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown in the bar," and you're like, "What did you make? $2 or 2 cents?
Yeah,
like, come on,
great pick." And didn't hit today.
Nope. So all those guys.
Somebody out there has been doing the thing where they roll over every week, like, "Oh, Christian McCaffrey touchdown every week." Somebody, maybe some smart guys, just they cashed out on it, but there's definitely somebody out there who's been rolling over. They've accumulated it, and then all of a sudden it was out today, and we enjoyed thinking about that.
Goodbye, money.
Yeah, goodbye.
They tried real hard to get him in the end zone, though.
Yeah. They did. They were
Kyle
throwing
Shanahan.
to it. They ran with them. They did a
Former
little bit of
babysitter.
everything.
Yeah, the 49ers, by the way, all about relationships, too. Like, Kyle Shanahan used to babysit Christian McCaffrey as a kid when his dad, Ed McCaffrey, played for the Broncos. They go out and get Chase Young, like, best friends with Nick Bosa. They're, I don't know. There might be something to be said for that.
Yeah, maybe. I think Brock Purdy was Deebo Samuel's grandmother at one point.
They're going to end up with Breece Hall. You better hope not.
No.
Yeah.
Breece Hall's mine.
Brock Purdy's college running back.
This is the thing. The Jets are driving and penalty, and then they get stopped, and now they got to kick the field.
Oh.
It's.
Don't trust me. I'm rooting.
I think the Commanders, and I think maybe why I love the Commanders so much is that they're the Jets of the NFC.
Wow. No, we score points.
Do you?
Yeah, we don't play defense.
We did score 20. But it's always been all these years.
Right.
I've always had a weird affinity for the Washington football team, whatever they were called at the time.
Yeah.
I remember playing Madden years back with Jason Campbell, Chris Cooley,
that was a
Santana Moss. I mean, that was an offense.
No, dude, Chris Cooley is the H-back, run the wheel route outside of the
Clinton Portis.
I mean,
dude. Come on.
Yeah, if you drafted him and simmed a franchise right then, you're in the Super Bowl.
Commanders today took the L, but they were right in it. They covered the spread that was +7. I should have.
Yep.
I was very close on taking that one. I did not, but they lost by 3. It was 29. Seahawks 29, Commanders 26. The refs just, and that's another thing I think, because I'm watching this and the refs just they screw the Commanders.
Yeah,
they screw the Jets, and this.
Oh, we earned it. I mean, our owner was a complete shitbag for a long time.
Yeah, I guess that's what it comes down to. I think combining the Commanders and Jets, Mark Sanchez was calling the game, and he had a bit of a blunder. And I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to go ahead and just I'll edit this in. And Mark Sanchez,
you both looked at each other like,
that's another butt fumble for the Sanchez.
Oh boy,
that's rough.
Yeah, got brown on brown crime right up top.
He's hearing about it on social media as well.
I'm sure. I am sure. The Sanchez.
But I mean, Like, we didn't win a ton of money, but we had a good day. It was fun, I guess. Fun Sunday of football.
Well, we did better on the 4:25 games than we did the 1 o'clock games, and we put in a lot of 1 o'clock games. And I usually like to go with the 1 o'clock games because I feel like they're a little bit more predictable.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not in prime time for a reason. They get, a little flex in a game like that. That's pretty big time for, whether it's Sunday night, Monday, whatever it is. I like to bet on the 1 o'clock games because I feel like crazy things usually don't happen, and crazy things happen today.
Yeah. Moving on, I think it's time for a little guy or dude.
I'm just a regular, everyday, normal guy. Nothing special about me.
How do you do, dude?
He's a dude.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
You want to debate?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah,
You wanna
totally.
talk about some dudes and some guys?
Dude, I'm gonna talk about guys, dudes, and I think you mentioned a feller before, but
Yeah, no fellers, hopefully, but
no fellers.
we got 3 candidates here. We're going to say, are they a guy? Are they a dude? I'm going to start with a guy we talked about quickly before, but Lions quarterback Jared Goff. Guy or dude? I'm pushing it to you. I want to hear.
You want me to
I wanna
answer
hear
this
your
one
take
first?
on Jared Goff. Brutal.
All right, so Jared Gosling, Jared Goff. I am a fan of his, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to preface this as I like Jared Goff a lot. But Jared Goff, I think, again, has a lot of toys and a lot of weapons at his disposal, and also has a decent line in front of him. I think he was probably the only person that said, I'm so excited to move from LA to Detroit. Because at the end of the day, he was, I think, set up for success a little bit more with some of the drafts that they had and the defense that they have in Detroit. He's not going to lose you a game.
No.
But I don't think he's going to go out there and win you a game. And I don't think anybody knew Amon St. Brown was going to be Amon St. Brown. And I don't think anybody thought Dan Campbell was going to be Man Campbell. Yeah, so I think he's a dude by circumstance, but outside, you take him outside of that situation there and that offense, which I think he runs really well. He runs it like it's a freaking Ferrari, but I think you take him outside of that, and he's just a pretty guy. He's just a pretty good-looking guy. And, whether it's his play or his looks, he's a pretty good-looking guy. But I don't think that at the end of the day, he's going to go down, drive, and win a Super Bowl for you. I think it's the players that you surround him with that are going to make the plays that win the Super Bowl, like a Hawkinson, who's no longer there, but like a Laporta. But you have Amon St. Brown, who came out of nowhere. Khalif Raymond running, making plays. Jameson Williams.
Maybe involved Jameson Williams.
And an incredible running game.
Yeah.
The play action for Jared Goff is there, and it works. It's Midwest Detroit football, but it's high flying too.
Mm-hmm.
But the defense gives the ball back to them, and he gets a lot of opportunities to score. And I think Dan Campbell is just an incredible coach. So I'm gonna go guy with Goff, but he's a good guy. He's definitely a good guy.
Jared Goff's a dude. He's a dude.
Okay.
You talk about pedigree. You're a big Triple H fan.
Yeah.
Talk about the pedigree. Jared Goff taken number 1 overall out of Cal.
Yeah.
2016.
Who else was taken out of Cal?
I don't know. You're gonna have to
Aaron
tell me.
Rodgers. Come on, man.
I mean, I'm bad at college
I'm not bringing you
association.
trivia night.
He is. Yeah, I knew that. I just you can't just throw that at me. But I
Yep.
mean, Jared Goff he's had the pedigree, and he's done really nothing but perform as a quarterback. He's had four seasons over 30. All right, let's see. 3 seasons over 4,000 yards. 46. He's had a year of 4,600 yards, 4,600 yards, 4,400
He's a
yards.
compiler.
He's never had more picks than touchdowns. His career quarterback rating is 93.1, and that's in 108 games played. The guy has come to play. They pushed him out of L.A. and then Stafford came in and won, so Goff kind of got shit on. But what's he done? He's taken a franchise like the Detroit Lions that have been a joke, and I know about jokes. I'm a Jets fan. You're a Commanders fan. We know this. A franchise that have been just losers for a long time. And Jared Goff came in, and what's he done? He's done nothing but win. And yeah, it's Man Campbell. Yeah, it's the run game. The solid defense. He's got weapons. But Jared Goff is playing, and he's if he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL this season.
Yeah, and I get that.
That's a dude, and he's been doing it for a while now.
I mean, I can see he's on the cusp of dudedom, but I just maybe it's a smokescreen of Stafford going in and winning the Super Bowl in LA when he couldn't do it. But you're right.
He's a dude.
We'll see.
Disagree. I mean, that's what this segment is for.
Moving on.
You're wrong. Geno Smith.
Okay.
Geno Smith. You want me to talk about Geno?
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
talk about Geno. Geno Smith is about as guy as you can get in the NFL. He went to Seattle with, as you called, a great leader in Pete Carroll, great coach, a team with weapons, and he's looked good. But what is he? He does not bomb the ball down the field. He doesn't run. He's a nice, accurate quarterback who has a couple good years. He's had one season over 4,000 yards. One. And that was last year. By far his best season.
In Seattle.
Yes. In Seattle with the weapons.
Yeah.
Which is what you took away from Jared Goff being a dude.
Okay.
Geno
All right.
Smith.
You can use my words against me here?
Absolutely. That's what the debate's about.
Okay.
I've watched Geno Smith. I watched him for 4 years as a Jet. He got hurt. He didn't play well. He threw a ton of picks. His rookie year, 21 picks, 12 touchdowns. I mean, you knew right away. And then it took him 7 seasons to get, and 2 of them in Seattle before he got the starting gig in Seattle and had a good season. And credit to him. And he's doing okay this year. 9 touchdowns, 7 picks. Unbelievable. That's a guy if there ever was a guy.
Unbelievable.
That's a guy if there ever was a guy.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, at the end of the day, I think he's a dude. And I think he's a dude who's just getting his opportunity to be a dude. Seattle doesn't have shit, man. I mean,
Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf.
Come on. I know how you feel about Tyler Lockett. It's the same as me. Exactly. DK Metcalf, yes, stud. Definitely a stud. But he's really rocking a team that has a bunch of people that aren't very well known up in the corner of the United States. And he was the NFL's comeback player of the year last year. And I think he's finally getting his opportunity to do it with a team that's not named the Jets. And I don't think he's, the dudest dude out there. But I think Geno Smith has a chip on his shoulder, and I think he's proving it with the way that he's winning and the way that he's running this team. So he's a middle of the road dude. But
As a guy.
No. He's a dude because they're not winning without him.
They could throw in Joe Schmo.
They could throw in Joe Schmo.
You could bring Jameis Winston.
You think you put Zach Wilson on that team, they win? No. You think they put Jameis Winston on that team? He throws 1,000 picks. Geno Smith is now throwing picks.
Geno took 2 years on the system behind Russell Wilson to learn, and it's Pete Carroll.
Do you learn anything from Russell Wilson, really, though, other than that he's a weird guy?
No, he's a very weird
Do you learn anything from Pete Carroll other than how to shoot a free throw in a team meeting?
Apparently not.
Geno Smith is doing it all by himself with no coaching. I like Geno Smith. I thought he was a little bit of a fraud coming out of college because of a lot of pop passes and Tavon Austin at West Virginia. But now I see how he's doing with a pro-style offense rather than a gadget offense or a spread offense or anything like that. And I think he's doing great. And I think he's going to continue to run the Seahawks into the playoffs for a few years until they finally move on from him.
They ain't
but
winning shit with him.
What do you
mean? They might make the playoffs, but they're not winning anything with Geno. Mark my words.
All right, who's the last one? Get out of this one. I hate Geno Smith.
I got one more. You hate Geno Smith? You just call him
I didn't say I love him. I just said I think he's doing a great job, and he's a dude because he's the NFL's comeback player of the year. He sat on the bench for way too long, and nobody gave him a shot, and now he's got his shot. He's running with it.
I got one more. We're going to baseball. MLB free agency. Winter meetings coming soon. It's a fun time.
I used to be locked into the winter meetings as like a kid.
Yeah, me too. I would watch it on awesome. Baseball Tonight, ESPN all the time.
Yeah.
And I might still do it, maybe.
Yeah.
I did it last year with Drudge. But one of the best starting pitchers on the market, Blake Snell. He might win the Cy Young. They haven't announced the Cy Youngs yet, but I think he's going to win it. San Diego was a really big disappointment this year, but Blake Snell.
That's the biggest understatement you've ever made.
Yeah. But Blake Snell's weird. You watch him, and he's 30 now. He's been in the league for a while. He's a lefty, and that's what separates him. He had a Cy Young year in 2018 with the Rays, 21-5, 1.89 ERA is unbelievable. But before that, his first 2 years weren't great, and then after that, he had two more mediocre injury-plagued years. Went to San Diego, was bad as a big ticket free agent. Wasn't good. Last year was a little better in 2022, but then this year it all clicked. 2.25 ERA. He still walks a lot of guys, and it's a problem for him. But I look at it torn, but in my heart of hearts, Blake Snell is not a dude. I think Blake Snell is a really good guy who is like, you sign him and he's a 2 or 3. It's similar to Carlos Rodon on the Yankees, who, if he stays healthy and has a good year. All right, you think Rodon's a dude? I don't know.
But Rodon is prone to the absolute explosion.
But the thing about
implosion,
you're talking about dudes like as a starting pitcher. For me, what separates it is the consistency. There's not a ton of starting pitcher dudes in my view. Garrett Cole is one at number one. Clayton Kershaw, Scherzer before this year, like. Those are dudes, like aces, studs. For me, like a number 2, number 3 guy, it's tough to even say. I called Zach Gallen a dude, and
I know
he pitched like one in the World Series last game.
Did he get the dub?
No, but he pitched like a dude.
Playoffs are about wins.
For me, Blake Snell's very borderline. But at the end of the day, I don't want to give him big money as a 30-year-old.
All I want to do is give him big money, as he's the one guy on the other than maybe Jordan Montgomery, who I really, really want the Orioles to sign. Now, big money to me is different than big money to you because of the team that I root for. But Blake Snell, I mean, he's got a 3.2 career ERA. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good as a lefty starter. He could be a workhorse. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get hurt that often, and he was clearly tabbed by the Rays as like a solid starter. You don't get drafted by the Rays unless they see something. Yeah, and I kind of trust their scouting there. And I trust San Diego to ruin people in MLB careers. So his comeback year this year, I think, was not really a comeback because I don't think he ever left. I think Blake Snell is an absolute stud. It is not a comeback. I want him in Baltimore, and I want him to be the Verlander that is the centerpiece to this Astros front office rebuilding the Orioles here. I'm a big fan of Blake Snell. He's obviously I think a guy that people love his personality, and the MLB loves his personality. Zach Wilson. Let's go. Let's go. But yeah, I want Blake Snell. I like Blake Snell. I've been trying to grind for Blake Snell in Dynasty. Get out of here. Zach Wilson does something. Okay.
Blake Snell, Grayson Rodriguez is your ace moving forward. Blake Snell, you sign him as a number 2. Fuck, he's out of bounds. I hate football.
That's why we're talking baseball.
Blake Snell.
We're at the football.
Blake Snell, you sign him as a stud.
He's going to be an anchor to a rotation.
Yeah.
If he gets out of a big market, any small market team, he's the anchor of a rotation. And his strikeout capabilities, his repertoire are incredible. And he's a lefty. And at 30 years old, he's just in his prime. He's peaking right now. Yeah. And we've seen Scherzer, Verlander, all those guys, after the mid-career kind of figuring out where they're going to be, whatever, just absolutely dominate. And I think come playoff time, he could be an absolute stud for a team that needs to make a run, that needs a starter like Baltimore
And I think the Orioles need to sign him.
Yeah, I know.
They
needed to trade for Jordan Montgomery too, but you know what? And I'm not on their payroll, so.
Yeah. If only. All right, good debate. I think you're wrong, but I'm smarter than you, so that's kind of what it comes out.
All right, I think I'm still leading in the picks, by the way. From scoreboard.
Brees Hall.
All right.
Punch. There's a flag. I'm done. If this doesn't count, I will angrily yell about. I can't even threaten to do anything. Holding on Uzama. So
That's 2 penalties.
That's 2 touchdowns that I just watched the Jets get into the end zone twice in a row.
Mm-hmm.
None of them counted.
They don't want.
That's why I love baseball. Because for the most part, a home run's a home run. And if it's not, you take the minute to review it.
Helps you out, but yeah.
Go to that.
Jeffrey Mayer.
Where is his holding?
Yeah, he's on the floor.
He's on the floor. What's he doing? I mean, you got to be kidding me. And now they're all the way back. Oh, Jesus. The NFL sucks. I don't know why you get excited every Sunday. I want to watch football. I want to watch a whole day of football. And I end up watching the refs fucking throw flags and control. They control every single game. They can call a holding on every play. They can call, a little push, the pass interference. You know what? Take a breath.
There we go.
We move on. We talk guys. We talk dudes. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the shitty.
GBS.
Chris, start us off, man.
You want me to start us off?
Why not?
You need a breath. You need to breathe.
I need a breath. I need to get my thoughts together. I need to watch the Jets try to get this second and goal from the fucking 13, and
I might hang tight a second until this play is done, and then we'll see, because I feel like you're gonna interrupt me once there's another flag thrown. Oh, it's a no gain. Jets.
No, the other teams don't commit penalties.
All right, so my good. From my alma mater here is Marvin Harrison Jr.
He's a great.
I wouldn't call him a great yet, but he's got a lot to prove. But at the end of the day, he's the most outstanding player in college football, and that's what the Heisman Trophy's for. I really, really do hope he ends up as the Heisman Trophy winner. Yesterday, 7 receptions, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns receiving, 1 rushing touchdown for 19 yards as well. All happened pretty much in the first quarter. And then, of course, you want to make sure he doesn't get hurt. Ryan Day does good by his players usually and needs to save some signs so that Michigan can't take him. But his Heisman odds, Marvin Harrison before this game were plus 1,600. During this game were plus 1,700. And now they're plus 400.
Is he the favorite?
Plus 490. Now, Bo Nix is, because he played the USC defense this week. But he went from 1,600 to during the game plus 700 to now plus 490. So he's the third in the Heisman rating. And I do hope that at the end of the day, the trophy is given to the most outstanding player in college football and not just the person with the best stats, which it has been recently. And I think the committee is looking for somebody who's not a quarterback. So if he can show out against our next couple opponents, including the team up north and maybe the Big Ten championship game, I think he ends up walking away with some hardware. And I think he deserves it. And I think that the Bears, or whomever has the number 1 pick, I don't know about Caleb Williams. I like him. If he do, whatever, is what it is. He makes some fun plays. But if you want a cornerstone for your offense, if you want an elite wide receiver, you're looking at probably the best one that's come out of Ohio State. And it's a long list, and that's saying a lot. Yeah. I mean, even Noah Brown's on that list. Moses Poop.
Moses Poop.
Anywho.
As they call him famously.
Yeah, I'll get off my soapbox for Marvin Harrison Jr. because he can speak for himself. But who's your good?
My good, I'm going to a guy we talked about last week who needed touches, needed carries, needed the football. That's Bijan Robinson. Ooh. And
Bijan Mustard.
Arthur Smith, Artie. They lost the game today.
Artie with the party.
But they did what they had to do. They stayed in a game against a Cardinals team that got Kyler Murray back, got James Conner back. Yeah. They were clearly, ready to play. And they gave the ball to Bijan. 22 carries, 95 yards, 4.3 carry, and he got a touchdown. It was a 1st and goal, and they give it to Bijan, and what's he do? He punches it in.
Yeah.
And that's what Arthur Smith needs to do, and that's what the Falcons need to do to move forward and be competitive and win games.
Was that the touchdown where he literally just took it and ran around everybody? It was like, huh,
he's like,
on a poo-poo.
I'm in. Yeah. He's,
why did you do that more, Art?
You talk about guys, dudes, like Bijan Robinson is the fucking dude, and you need to give him the ball. And I said last week, If you don't give Bijan Robinson, if you don't give Bijan 20 carries, Arthur Smith needs to be fired. He gave him 22 carries.
Yeah, because he didn't want to get
Could
fired.
have given him more. Should have given him more. Maybe you give him more, they win.
Yeah.
But he's a great, he's a dude. Bijan, I mean, just give that man the ball, and you will build a team. You can build
Watch
a team
him work
for the next couple of years,
right,
around that running game, and figure out your quarterback situation. That's the problem. But
yeah,
I'll keep it going here, and this is something I might get emotional about. We talked about this, but my bad is the pass interference call in the NFL.
Okay.
It should not always be a spot foul.
I
Now, the argument against that is maybe giving the refs, the officials, maybe too much judgment on calls. If you want to say it was, pass interference is pass interference, black and white, and it's a spot, whatever.
Brown and brown. Too
many games are turning on the pass interference call.
Mm-hmm.
And when it shouldn't, and when half of them are very debatable.
Mm-hmm.
Very debatable. It's the toughest argument is giving the refs more judgment here.
Right.
But maybe break it down into some incidental contacts, like you said, and give them 15 yards instead of the spot.
Right.
Because at the end of the game, you could chuck the ball down the field, and if there's a pass interference,
it flips the entire field. I hear you.
It's bad. It's ruining the game. It's too big a part of NFL games. Games completely turn. We'll watch Red Zone. It's great. No, pass interference. Nope. Completely different result.
Yeah.
Big third and long. Chuck the ball down the field. Oh, pass interference. They got it. First down.
I think specifically about that one call in the Texans game where the ball was underthrown by Stroud, which is a unique situation, but he's trying to come back to the ball and the defender's just running forward. And that's all he's doing is running forward. They run into each other. To me, like we talked about, I think that's incidental contact. Mm-hmm. But do we really want to give the refs more power?
But the refs already have, when you think about it, the refs already have the judgment of, is it a pass interference or not?
Right.
So maybe when it's questionable, you can kind of push it back a little bit and say, all right, he needs to play a little better. He shouldn't have fouled him. Incidental contact, 15 yards. And you don't flip the field on a call.
You have a 70-yard penalty. It's funny when you see like the graphic, the Texans had however many penalties for 167 yards. And you're like, what the hell?
It's more than some offenses get.
I completely agree. And
it's too much.
It is what it is because I love the college rule. It's 15 yards, first down, and boom, that's it. But I can
almost
see.
Would be okay with.
But no, because then if you're heaving the ball down the field and the guy just hugs him just to make sure that he doesn't catch it within 2 minutes or whatever,
there has to
4
be the
minutes.
balance. There has to be the judgment.
Exactly.
If it's clear, if it's blatant, it's spot foul. Fine.
I think that's what they tried to do when it was the coaches can throw the flag on the pass interference and kind of keep them in check. But how many of those calls were overturned? If you remember that one year they could do that.
Yeah.
If you have a rules expert upstairs, a Dean Blandino around that maybe has a little bit of checks and balances on them. But yeah, I think it is. It's almost a life hack at some points, for the defense or for the offense. Like
way too much.
Too much. We're doing too much.
Keep us going. Who's your bad?
My bad is James Franklin. Do you know who James Franklin is?
I don't.
Keegan-Michael Key, head coach of Penn State.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do know.
He's no bueno. Penn State is supposed to be the third best Big Ten team. And honestly, it's a premier program. They recruit well on the East Coast. They bring in a lot of guys. They have an elite defense right now. Played Michigan this week and had a decent showing defensively until the fourth quarter. But James Franklin came in from Vanderbilt, was touted as an offensive expert, was going to bring the spread. And he's really relied more on the defense since he's been at Penn State. He's 3-17 against top 10 teams. And more importantly, he's 4-16 in his 10 years at Penn State against Ohio State and Michigan. If you want to get to the next level, if you want to be a premier program,
I think I saw this.
Yeah, you gotta break that glass ceiling, and he just can't do it. He gets the off win. He had one win when they blocked the field goal against Ohio State. A couple random wins out there, but you should be able to recruit a little bit better to Happy Valley. And Penn State it's a big program. If you look at the third best program in the SEC, it's LSU. I think LSU is better than Penn State is or will be with James Franklin at the helm. Don't hate him as an offensive coordinator, but I don't get it. You can't have those numbers and be a coach at Ohio State or Michigan. And I was really hoping that he would take down Michigan this week. And, of course, he didn't buck the trend. He just did what James Franklin does, be bald and not win.
I did see the stat because I did actually bet on the Michigan game. And I did see the stat going around Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it now. But 12 and 25 record against teams in the top 25.
Yeah,
that's not
terrible.
Getting it done.
Nope. It's no bueno. And you're not going to make the playoff that way. I think they made it 1 year underneath him and got absolutely destroyed. And yeah, he's recruited fine, but he just doesn't put it all together. You know, you have guys like Saquon, Miles Sanders ended up in the NFL. Just never a good quarterback, really. And even Bill O'Brien had success with Christian Hackenberg, who you know and love.
You hyped him up when the Jets took him.
I did. He's a head case, though. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just James Franklin is just. I want to keep him there as long as possible. Please, I don't ever want to lose to Penn State. But you're a premier program, a national brand, and you are not winning. So
very nice.
Yeah, it's that online college, Penn State.
Yeah, keep us rolling with your shitty.
No, you're not going to like this one, though.
That's okay.
You sure you want me
That's
to do
right.
it? Okay, it's the Yankees front office. Yeah, they're having a pretty rough offseason, man. I don't really get it, and I think they're kind of moving away from that Yankee standard.
Yep.
The Cashman expletive press conference was kind of tough to watch because I'm a Cashman fan, and you don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to defend yourself. Everything that you've done is your resume is substantial. And you know what? Just stop listening to people on X or Twitter and people in the New York media. You had one bad year. You didn't get fired. You don't have to really defend yourself for that stuff. But he's not being helped out by Hal Steinbrenner, who is consulting players on whether the manager should be fired.
I'm okay with it.
Dude, I mean, that's not how you run a business.
No.
You know, you can't consult your employees on whether or not your CEO is doing well, really. There's a trickle-down effect to that. He's going outside the organization for advice, too. And I think we had a conversation today that we need a little more Hank and Hal. And, it's
R.I.P. to Hank.
There's a Yankee standard, and it's just not it's not looking good. And hopefully they bunt more.
Look, it's a fair criticism.
The next season.
Yeah, I'm not gonna vehemently argue against you because it's been rough the last couple of years. And Cashman with this press conference, like that's the first cracks that you've seen from this front office.
Yeah,
and I think he's feeling the pressure.
Yeah,
which he should be.
It's like the casita in Encanto when it starts to crack.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What are we doing? The Family Madrigal.
Yeah. You got to find Bruno and figure it all out.
Although I'm sitting here and this is criticism that is completely unwarranted because
okay,
I am newly the executive of the year with Mike Elias and the Orioles and newly knowing success. Dan Duquette was terrible.
Impressive.
Our ownership is horrible in Baltimore, so I'm just kind of just poking you. Right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
that was bad. I was embarrassed watching that. And the Yankees don't do that. They usually keep everything close to the vest. It's Cashman feeling the pressure.
Yes.
And deservedly so, because the team hasn't performed to their expectations for quite some time now.
But he's got 2 feet
last year was
in 2 buckets with analytics and old school and
he wasn't even
Yankee
making
alumni
sense in his argument because he's like, we have one of the smallest analytics team, and then they looked at the stats and they actually don't. They have one of the bigger analytics. So he's just like kind of throwing out just bullshit.
Yeah,
and hoping that nobody pays attention.
Tough winner.
Hal is apparently talking to Judge. Trying to get some insight from Judge. And I like that because you
and Nick Swisher.
I don't want to hear from Nick Swisher.
I know. I don't know who does.
I've never wanted to hear from
man.
Nick Swisher.
He should be on intentional talking. That's about it.
Nick Swisher was a great boost to the 2009 team, and I'll always love him for that.
For Ohio.
But after that, he fell off. Couldn't in the playoffs. Him and Teixeira, they were some of the worst. I'm not gonna get into it.
Sorry, I just this is Pandora's box, and it's wide open right now. My bad.
But yes, they're on the hot seat right now. They're being bad.
They're
being bad. But hey, that could all change with a Juan Soto trade and
that's who they need to get
signing.
But you know what? Things could have been completely different if the Giants or wherever he was playing, if Aaron Judge's toe was a little more protected by the padding on the wall there.
Yes,
could have a completely different season and a completely different conversation.
How do you 2nd and 1 and you set up Dalvin Cook running 4 yards back?
Hey, who's your shitty? Is it the Jets?
No.
Okay, sorry.
My shitty is Tony Romo, and he makes my ears bleed I can't stand listening to him anymore. When he first started
I love
out,
it.
it was cute, and Tony Romo's, calling games, and he's predicting plays and doing really good. Now he's just completely obnoxious. He doesn't. My thing with him is he doesn't argue a call ever.
No.
He doesn't look at a replay and acknowledge that maybe that call was wrong. He's like, oh yeah, that was a little tug there. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, there it is, right there. It's every time. It's just disgusting, and he's bad. He was all over Herbert today, and Herbert had a great game, but he picks his guys who he likes. He doesn't disagree with the refs. He already has his winner in his head in the game, and just like sticks with that. He doesn't adapt.
I don't think he watches football.
I don't think he watches. He's like, yeah.
I told you he was
Not a
calling the
great
celebrity
quarterback.
pickleball
Shitty
tournament,
comp.
and he was going at Jason Kidd for being a terrible pickleball player. I'm like, dude, where's this coming from? Yeah, I don't think he watches football. He's super agreeable. I love when he predicts plays because it's just going to be the opposite.
Well, that's what it's been.
That was a good time to go deep here, and it's slant across the middle, and you're like, well, okay, Tony, where are you right now?
Yeah.
I'm more of a Troy Aikman fan, but Tony Romo, I think he's getting paid even more than him to announce these games.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Tony Romo, love him. What has he ever done? He
botched a hold on
a kick, yeah.
And,
But what has he ever done?
Nothing.
Why do people hate on Dak
done
more than
nothing.
they hate on Tony
It's-
Romo? Dak's done way more than Tony Romo ever did.
Kind of has. I think if you look at the numbers, it probably has.
Yeah.
Maybe we're wrong, I don't know, but
Maybe we're right.
I think Dak is a better quarterback than Tony Romo ever is.
Well, yeah, okay. All right, yeah. I agree with that.
Bottom line, Tony Romo sucks as an announcer. I don't want to hear him anymore.
Better than Mark Sanchez, though.
It's a little brown on brown crime.
You said it.
No, that's rough. That's rough. All right, Chris. This was fun. It was a fun day. We didn't hit on all our bets.
No.
Our teams are making
Close.
us mad, but it's still football.
Yeah.
We're still having a good time.
Love it.
You got anything to send us out?
Yeah, don't normally want to shout out Michigan or that team up north, as I should say. But Sharon Moore, the assistant coach who stepped in for Harbaugh, gave one of the best post-game speeches I've ever seen. And he looked in the camera on Fox and he said, to Jim Harbaugh, I fucking love you, man. This shit, I love the shit out of you, and I fucking love these players. And to see a coach in college who absolutely loves their players, it reminds me of Dan Campbell, and a guy who gets his shot like that. It's just kind of cool. I love the emotions of college football, and I love, it might be going away with NIL or whatever, but I thought it was pretty cool and a lot of fun to see. And big showdown after Thanksgiving, the game, Ohio State against the team up north. Set up now. Beat Penn State. We both beat Penn State, and I'm nervous.
It's going to come down to Ohio State and Michigan again.
I know, and it does. It has been for the past 3 years, so we'll see. But yeah, that's a game where I will not be speaking to you. I won't be speaking to anybody, and I'll just be alone in a room watching it because I'm very nervous about
That's
it.
fair.
Yep.
I totally understand.
But Sharon Moore, good
I'll
on
be
you.
on your side. I'll be on Ohio
Great win.
State, and I'll be there with you.
Let's go, buddy.
Be good.
Yeah.
And like you said, kind of real men cry.
Real men
That's
cry.
what it comes down to.
Dan Campbell cries.
Dan
He's
Campbell
got 3
cried.
balls.
All you got to do is start talking about football to Dan Campbell, and that's it.
If you don't watch Rudy and cry, you're not a man to me.
Yeah, that's it. Manly men doing manly things.
Manly men.
All right, bud. That was fun. We'll live in studio setup again.
Let's go.
Thanks for listening. If you're not following, find us at The Sports Clash, Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube at The Sports Clash. Really appreciate the support. Thank you, everybody.